Hello, and welcome to my hero's journey. This is Luke Skywalker. He's the hero I chose for this project. The overview, this presentation will cover Luke Skywalker's hero journey through the course of Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. The slideshow will not cover any of the other movies for time's sake. So Act 1, The Departure. Let's get started. The call to adventure. Luke Skywalker has lived on the desert planet of Tatooine for most of his life. He's a moisture farmer with his aunt and uncle. He longs for adventure. He wants to get away. So when Luke and Owen purchase R2-D2 and C-3PO from some Jawas, Luke is excited because now he finally has the time to go to the academy or to leave Tatooine. He can finally leave as his uncle will have enough droid help on the farm. But while he's cleaning them, Luke Skywalker finds the secret recording of Princess Leia asking for help, asking Obi-Wan for help to come to Alderaan to meet with her father and to meet with her. They do not know that she's been captured by the Empire at this point, but she's prompting them to go to Alderaan. And she also reveals that R2-D2 is carrying the plans for the Empire's new super weapon, the Death Star. The refusal of the call, R2-D2 escapes in the night, which prompts Luke and C-3PO to chase after him. But while they're looking for him, they get attacked by the Tusken Raiders. But while that's happening, they're rescued by Obi-Wan, old Ben Kenobi here, who's been watching over Luke from the shadows his whole life. They go back to his hut, and Luke shows Obi-Wan the recording of Princess Leia, asking Obi-Wan for help. And Obi-Wan extends the offer to Luke Skywalker to come help him rescue the princess and, destroy the Death Star and yada yada yada. But Luke refuses, even though Obi-Wan is about to reveal the supernatural aid. During this whole conversation, Luke Skywalker learns about the Force, a mysterious power that the Jedi use. Obi-Wan also tells Luke about how his father was a Jedi named Anakin, how he fought in the Clone Wars and was then killed by Darth Vader. He presents Luke with Anakin's lightsaber, the weapon of the Jedi, and lastly, Obi-Wan reveals that Luke is strong with the Force and has the potential to be trained as a Jedi like his father. So over here we have the Jawas, who sold the droids to Luke and his uncle, but when they leave Obi-Wan's hut to return home, they find all the Jawas have been killed by stormtroopers. Because they've been tracking the droids with the Death Star plans. And Luke realizes that if they've tracked the Jawas, then they could also have tracked them back to his aunt and uncle, and by the time he returns home, he finds that the Empire has killed his aunt and uncle. So in the belly of the whale, with nothing left, Luke decides that he will go with Obi-Wan to Alderaan, but first they need to get away from Tatooine. They need a ship, so they go to the Cantina, where they meet Han Solo and Chewbacca, who agree to fly Luke and Obi-Wan and the droids to Alderaan. But during their escape, the Empire nearly catches them. Han shoots Greedo. They have to get away. They may have to make a hasty getaway on the Millennium Falcon because the stormtroopers are right on their tail. Act 2, The Initiation. During their ride to Alderaan, Luke must receive training from Obi-Wan. This is his road of trials. It really isn't that long of a road of trials in A New Hope, but Obi-Wan also feels a great disturbance in the Force as the Death Star blows up Alderaan before they can get there. And so when the Millennium Falcon arrives, there's asteroids and space rocks because the planet has exploded, and the Death Star catches them in a tractor beam and brings them into its hangar, and they're captured by the Empire. They steal stormtrooper uniforms and split up on the Death Star. Obi-Wan is on the mission to go stop the tractor beam so the ship can take off, whereas Luke and Han and Chewie go to rescue the princess. They find her in their prison cell. She's able to hold her own. She's able to whoop some butt. She proves that she fights the stormtroopers, and she helps the crew escape into the garbage hatch from the prison level so they're not captured again. There's the atonement with the father. The crew makes it back to the Millennium Falcon with the princess, but when they get there across the hangar, Luke sees Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fighting with their lightsabers, and Obi-Wan is killed by Darth Vader. And just when all hope seems lost, they're about to be captured, Luke hears the voice of Obi-Wan, telling him to get on the ship and to run, to get away. He hears them through the Force. Apotheosis, after Luke hears Obi-Wan's voice, he realizes that Obi-Wan has been right all along. It's his destiny to become a Jedi. He is strong with the Force, so Luke decides to stay with the princess and the Rebel Alliance in their fight against the Death Star, against Darth Vader, and against the Empire. Speaking of the Death Star, the ultimate boon here, Luke Skywalker joins the X-Wing assault on the Death Star. They make it back to the base after they escape, and they find that the Death Star has a weakness in its trench. Down here across the middle, there's a weak spot where they can shoot a torpedo in, and it will create a chain reaction and blow the whole thing up. And even though many rebels are killed and Darth Vader can sense the Force in Luke, realizing that he's a Jedi, Luke is able to use the Force and Obi-Wan's guidance to shoot his torpedo into the trench and blow the whole Death Star up. Luke's return story is a little unconventional, but it still features the rescue from without, where Han Solo arrives in the Millennium Falcon to rescue Luke from Darth Vader, because earlier Han Solo had left, and he collected the reward for returning the princess, and he skedaddled before they left to go blow up the Death Star. And right before Darth Vader shoots Luke's ship, Han Solo shows up and saves him. R2-D2 is also damaged in the battle, but he's repaired before the ceremony, and C-3PO offers to donate his parts to help fix R2-D2, and you can see him over here. He's all bright and shiny and new. And so the freedom to live, the New Hope ends directly on the celebration of destroying the Death Star. They're all recognized for, helping the Rebel Alliance. And it's important to note that even though the Death Star has been destroyed, the Empire is still out and about. They're still at large. So the movie ends with a more living in the moment feature of the freedom to live. It ends directly on the celebration and not so much on the foreboding rest of the trilogy, with the Empire still quite powerful. And so here are the references. Of course, A Hero to a Thousand Faces, written by Joseph Campbell, and Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, directed by George Lucas. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you really found it entertaining and informative, and if you haven't seen the movies yet, I would highly recommend, so you are able to go and see the hero's journey for yourself throughout the entire trilogy.